7:02, and I'll call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Beloit City Council. We're here at 100 State Street, Beloit, Wisconsin, in the City Hall Forum, and today is Monday, August 18th, 2014. Can I have a roll call?
Roll call shows Councilor DeForest absent.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3, special orders of the day and announcements. 3A.
The presentation of the new Beloit Bicycle Route Book.
I would invite Rick Barter and Monica Christopa to the podium.
Good evening, Council. It's always a pleasure to come before you and talk about a collaborative effort that not only benefits our community but regionally as well. So the role in which Visit Beloit played in this new bike route printing, we have a free copy and also a bound, is one, closely Rick and I are in the same vision center together, which gives us opportunity to talk. But also his group, the Spinners, the State Line Spinners, have been looking to entice people to come to our community and take advantage of all these routes. So we offer what we call JET grants. They're small grants that help non-for-profits and other organizations accomplish marketing goals, and in this case, this certainly was one of theirs. So our role was, after they completed the grant, was to have a committee that we convene at the State Line Community Foundation and approve this grant. And what's exciting about this project, more so than some other, that the spiral bound books that they're selling, that money will go right back into a fund to help another non-for-profit with the marketing of their organizations or events. So I'm going to let, really the good part, mine is just here to tell you, it was a great collaboration, and again, and then for Rick to really talk about the maps, and I think you all have one of the free copies of the bike rides. Did you bring those?
Oh, yeah, I did.
How about if I, yeah, get in there. Great. All right, Rick, you're up.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. Rick Barter, 2560 Blarney Stone Drive in Beloit. I just read off a list of individuals that made this project possible. First of all, Monica from Visit Beloit, Tara Tinder, State Line Community Foundation, Dean Painter, the Rock Trail Coalition, Lynette Newton, who wrote the grant for the funding that we received, Teresa Oldenburg with Firepoint Media. She helped us with the website. Shauna Elamine, she helped us with the proofreading. Ann Bardo, a Beloit College intern, helped us also with this project. My fellow henchmen here, I've got 4 of them here. I'll read off all the names first. Jeff and Sue Johnson, Carl Lang, Carl's here in the back. Tom Houlihan, Tom is here with his granddaughter. Josh Moore, who's a Beloit College professor. John Fleiterer, who works for Family Service, an avid bicyclist. Myself, Craig Gronau, Craig is here, lives in Beloit. Eric Eisenberg, retired physician from Beloit Health Systems, and Steve Eisenbray, who is our resident photographer. And so I don't want to prolong this too much, but if you want people to come to your community, you have to give them something to do. And we feel that having good bike maps and bike paths is an amenity to the community, to know people, whatever, engaged in your community. We have a lot of paths going, and there's nothing happier that I would love to work on this project again for the next 3 years from now, when we have more bike paths, hopefully, in the community that we're working on with, I think Mike Flesch is here, and Jason Dupuis, Greg Boyson, TJ Nee. Our group is not a for-profit group. You can join us on a ride on Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. There's no charge. There's nothing. You have to pay to be a part of our group. So we meet. We have average of 15 to 30 riders. And we started this project in January of this year, and it took us 6 months of volunteer time to do it. And as Monica said, this is evidence of a real collaboration between all the parties. And this book is for sale. It's not quite a coffee table item, but it's close. So some great pictures of the community, and I just again like to thank all the people that were involved in this project. It was 6 months in the making, and we used the facilities at Visit Beloit, which Monica provided. And as you know, there's a bridge going over Goose Creek, which is very exciting. It's going to go into Big Hill Park. The city has we have a grant for a path through Big Hill Park, which will happen next year. The bridge will go in this year. And Beth Jacobson is here, and her Leadership Development Academy group raised the money for that. And so there's a lot going on for multi-use paths for pedestrians and bicyclists, and the new bridge and the new interchange will have a bike lane and bike path. So I thank the council, thank the Department of Public Works for their support. We still need more bike paths. So I'd love to write another grant in 3 years from now and say, okay, we got all these bike paths, and we're there to roll. So if any questions, be glad to answer. If any of my associates want to come up and say anything, Greg?
My name is Craig Grona. I live at 1216 Bushnell Street. This was really impromptu. We walk in, Rick says, anybody wants to say something, get up here. It was really an honor to be part of this very, very professionally done book. Not very many communities can boast of having a book like this. The call for the bike paths in Beloit are tremendous. Bikers are a silent group, but once you get to know them, there's so many out there, you just don't realize it. Like Rick said, occasionally we have over 30 riders come with us on Tuesday nights. And there's a lot of people that don't want to ride with the group for various reasons. And so it's very great that we have an individual like Rick that just grabbed this thing and ran with it his endless hours. I'm just extremely happy to have been part of this book for Beloit. It's really a bragging point, I feel. Thank you.
Monica just reminded me, the book is for sale for $10. The money goes back to Visit Beloit. You can get the book at Vision Beloit and the local bike shops. The maps, we printed 750 of the free maps. They're available at all the welcome centers, Illinois, Wisconsin, and because there's roots here in northern Illinois as well. So did I miss anything? I did. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and thank you for your support.
Thank you for your work on this project, and thanks for your presentation. Item 4 is public hearings. 4A.
A resolution approving the vacation of a portion of the Milwaukee Road frontage road for the Fran Frusen Intermediate School. The Plan Commission recommended approval, 4-0.
Ms. Christensen.
There is a frontage road that runs, which ran in front of 4 houses, I think it is 4 houses, that the school district purchased and demolished. There is a piece of it that extends into Central Christian Church that is not part of the frontage road, that already has an ingress-egress easement over it. The school is requesting vacation of that right-of-way so they can incorporate it into their site plan for the Fran Frusen Intermediate School, which I believe is included in your packet, so you can see how the site will function. We are requiring them to maintain an ingress-egress easement over the portion for the driveway over to Central Christian Church, so Central Christian Church will be assured access. Plan Commission did review this item on July 23rd and August 6th, and they ultimately recommended approval 4-0. And Central Christian Church I didn't make the packet, but Central Christian Church did submit a letter supporting this vacation if it did include that ingress-egress easement. So that was their only concern.
Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing on item 4A. If there's anyone wishing to speak on item 4A, please approach the podium at this time. Second call for anyone wishing to speak on item 4A. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak on item 4A. If not, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any questions on this item, or is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Lupke, second by Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 4B.
A proposed ordinance amending the future land use map of the City of Beloit Comprehensive Plan to change the future land use designation of the property located at 1715 Elmwood Avenue from planned neighborhood to mixed residential. The Plan Commission recommended denial, 5-0.
Ms. Christensen.
This is a piece of property that is owned by Jack Myers. He has come forward a number of times, first to do single-family, and he submitted a preliminary plat. Second, he requested a rezoning to R2. At this point, what he is seeing as the future is an R3 or low-density multifamily type of use, which the comprehensive land use plan currently does not allow. So his request is to change the future land use map from planned neighborhood to mixed residential, which then would support the R3 zoning designation, which he is requesting. Plan Commission did hold a public hearing and to review this on the July 9th meeting and voted unanimously 5-0 to recommend denial of the requested amendment to the comprehensive plan. And I'm just going to go over the zoning quick too as part of this piece. So these kind of go hand in hand. Thing is an R3 low density multifamily residential zoning, with his plan to try to encourage a developer to come in. I don't think he intends to develop it himself. He's 92 years old. And he did provide kind of a drawing, which was handed out to you this evening, what a potential development could look like, which is this in front of you tonight, because his intention is, with this comprehensive plan amendment, his rezoning request is to leave, there'd be a row of single family on one side of Cadillac Drive as it went through, and then the multifamily would be to the west of there. So his request is really just to provide multifamily on part of that land. And so the two items on your agenda which are related to this project is the comprehensive plan amendment to change it to mixed residential. And then the second item is a rezoning to R3. Plan Commission did recommend denial of both, with the key issues seeming to be that some of the board members didn't like the idea of additional multifamily. And a couple of the board members felt like if they could that he would be required to put that road through, they would have been more comfortable with it. But without that requirement, they were kind of uncomfortable with it. And Plan Commission did not have an opportunity to review this. This was just the property owner put it together in the last week or so. So they did not review any kind of design, which I think was part of one of the issues too, is they couldn't necessarily see what the site could be.
I'll now open the public hearing on item 4B. If there's anyone wishing to speak on the podium.
Hi, my name is Frank McCurran. I'm with Batterman Engineering. I've been working with the property owner for several years as he's tried to develop the property. Here to answer any questions, and two exhibits handed out tonight. I apologize for just handing them out tonight. I know you like to get them ahead of time. The color one gives you an overview of what the surrounding community looks like. On the other side of the train tracks is kind of a small industrial park to the previously approved, I think it's apartment project and a condominium / apartment project that's in various stages of construction, and then the mix of R2 and single family surrounding the property. My understanding is that there is a desire for the folks to the north and the city to have Cadillac Drive extended to the south. The understanding or the thought is that that might relieve some traffic congestion, keep it out of the single family homes. The property owner is open to that idea. You know, the details of that have to be worked out. He started this project. I don't know how much background information you want. Feel free to tell me to stop talking, but he had purchased the property, had intentions of developing it as single family and duplexes right about when things slowed way down. He hasn't had any success in that. He's indicated to me that he's had some interest from people to do multifamily. So that's his desire, is to try and market the property as multifamily. And I did attend the Plan Commission meeting, and that's what prompted the real rough concept to show loosely what the density could look like. Those buildings are about the same size as the buildings to the north, 8 to 12 units per building, showing what the density would be. So I'm here if there's any questions, and if other folks in the audience have questions that I can try and answer, I'm here to answer those.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in the public hearing on item 4B? Please approach the podium at this time. Second call for anyone else wishing to speak on item 4B. Third and final call on item 4B. All right, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any questions? Or is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we remand 4B and C back to the Planning Commission so they have the opportunity to look at the new proposal or possibility of what the land use might look like.
If you can limit the motion to 4B for now, I think we'll ask for a second on that.
Okay, thank you.
Second by Haynes. The motion is to refer this back to the Plan Commission. Is there discussion on this? If not, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion or any questions before we vote on this motion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? This is approved 6-0. Item 4C.
A proposed ordinance approving a zoning map amendment to change the zoning district classification of the property located at 1715 Elmwood Avenue from R2 Two-Family Residential District to R3 Low-Density Multifamily Residential District. The Plan Commission recommended denial, 5-0.
I'll now, Ms. Christensen, I think your staff report suffices, so I'll open the public hearing on item 4C. If there's anyone wishing to speak on item 4C, please approach the podium now. Second call on item 4C. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak on item 4C. If not, I'll close the public hearing and entertain questions or a motion.
4C to the Plan Commission for further.
Moved by Haynes, second by Kelly to refer item 4C back to the Plan Commission for further review. Is there any discussion on that motion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's approved 6-0. Item 5 is citizens' participation. We've reached the point in the meeting for members of the public to speak to the council about issues that are coming before us or may come before us in the future. The council will not act on any requests this evening unless the item you are speaking about is already on our agenda, but we may act on requests at a future meeting, or we may refer a speaker to staff for assistance. We ask that you hold your comments to 3 minutes or less and avoid making personal attacks. I have a number of sheets of people wishing to speak during citizens' participation. I have Kent Miller. Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Name's Kent Miller, address 5801 Gemini Drive, Madison, Wisconsin.
You may address the council.
Sure. Thank you, City Council and staff, for your time. Good evening. My name is Kent Miller. For the last few years, I've been a marketing rep for GROC, Great Lakes Region Organizing Committee. Before that, I had 10 years as a union sewer and water pipe layer, and in 2005 and 6 had the opportunity to work on the Staples warehouse project right here in Beloit, Wisconsin. And without a fair bidding process, I may not have had that opportunity. A small part of what I do as a marketing rep is track construction projects. And when viewing the Gateway Sewer and Water Extension Project, I noticed 3 local bids, MZ from Linden, CCI from Beloit, and Ian Hughes out of Monroe. These local contractors' bids range from $831,000 to $883,000. But on the website that I use, Bid Tool, it stated apparent low bidder was LTL Enterprise from Lansing, Michigan for $532,245. That is more than 37% lower than the lowest bid, which this was odd to me because the project is prevailing wage. The labor rate is a set standard for everybody. So August 12th, I stopped by the Beloit Public Works office. Was told originally MZ was awarded the project, but another bid was found, LTL, and they were awarded the project. I then was given a copy of the bid tabs. I then called MZ, and someone is here from their company to speak on their behalf. The ad for this project listed the bids closed 8/7/2014 at 10:30 a.m. If LTL's bid wasn't in the normal bidding process, an MZ was called on 8/7 after the bid letting and told they were apparent low bidder. Then MZ was called the day after 8/8 and told there was a new bid found and the MZ is no longer apparent low bidder. How is this bidding process transparent and fair to MZ, CCI, and Ian Hughes, who got their bids sealed on time, delivered to the proper location for all to be open in public at one period of time? LTL is also listed on the plan holders list as a construction manager, meaning he's not self-performing the work and would be making something off of this and finding somebody else to do the work, which would even be lower costs. I've left messages for Lonnie from LTL and haven't had any return calls. I want to thank you for your time and available for any questions.
Thank you. Next, I have a representative from MZ Construction. Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Jeremy Iverson, speaking on behalf of MZ Construction. We just want to have it on record that we were here to talk to the council. Oh, sorry, my address is 1770 County Highway J, Linden, Wisconsin, 53553.
Did you have anything more you wanted to say to the council?
Yeah, I just wanted it on record that we were here to the meeting and wanted on record that we did on August 7th receive a call that we were apparent low bidder, and then on the 8th that we got a call saying we weren't apparent low bidder because another bid was found, and we just wanted that on record.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I have Jessica Everson.
Hello, Jessica Everson, 1313 10th Street in Beloit. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I'm here tonight to speak on the actions of the Downtown Beloit Association. I'm concerned with their recent actions regarding this decision on the dogs at the farmer market and the legality of the vote. I have met with the board president and their vice president, and I also plan to speak at their meeting next Thursday. But I just think it's important for them to be aware that a lot of people in Beloit don't associate the Beloit Farmers Market with the Downtown Beloit Association. I think it's a reflection on the city council as far as the voting goes, and people may not be aware that there is a board. So my concern is the decision-making process. I feel that surveys were available, interns were taking surveys at the market and some were online. And as we were told, the results were low, showing only 20% of the people preferring no dogs. So, there we have 80% of people for dogs, and then suddenly a vote is taken. So I don't feel that the public had enough information to give input to the board before a decision was made. And I also wonder if the vendors were included in the survey as well. So I just feel like the public should have been given more information so we don't lose our vendors and so we don't lose, the public attending our market. My biggest concern really is the transparency of the board. I am concerned because when you go online to the website, there's no information on how to contact board members, what the minutes were from the previous meetings, no agendas are online. So I'm really kind of frustrated as a citizen. If I want to voice my input, I don't have access to the board members. Or if I want to make a good decision and allow input, I can't follow what's going on with the Downtown Beloit, the DBA. So I think, too, that we need to get the word out how we can attend the meetings. I was told that we need to have approval to attend meetings, and I don't think that that's the case. It's, a public meeting, so that should be given to citizens. And I think a review of Robert rules may be in order. And I think board members need to be available to speak to the public. I was told some board members are not comfortable speaking one-on-one with people. I've served on the Board of Education previously, and I feel, whether it's a volunteer position or a paid position, that board members should be available to speak with public, because otherwise you're not going to know how people stand on issues. I've also asked for a copy of the bylaws so I can understand how you get nominated for the board. I think living in this city, I work for a city for the school district, and I'm completely vested in my community, so I think that there should be opportunity for citizens that may want to be more involved to have that information so they can be. And I'm also concerned with how it's going to play in the city sidewalks. So I just thought that as a citizen who's very pro-Beloit, very Beloit proud, that the city council should know that I think this is having a negative impact on our community. And I think that the Downtown Beloit Association should have more transparency and maybe allow for more input from our community. So I want to thank you for your time. I'm sorry, I get a little nervous speaking on the microphone. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jamie Carpenter. Please approach the podium.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, nervous. Anyway, I'm Jamie Carpenter. I'm here in regards to the crime and violence going on in our city. I am a homeowner, and I'm in the Summit Park area. And I've been involved in some community events going on, and I've talked with a lot of other people from the community, and I wanted to bring to you guys some ideas that we had as far as how we can kind of curb the crime that's going on. One thing that I wanted to bring up was the shot detectors, and this may be you've heard because a few of you on this board I've already spoke with, but we have shot detectors. In fact, I have one in my backyard. And I know that has helped with at least a few major crimes that we had where there was a shooting and they were able to detect the area where it came from and catch these criminals. And I think that it's really beneficial to have that, especially with all the violence going on right now. I was told that it was about $75,000 needed to get it up and running. I don't know what it costs to maintain it. I was told that there is not any money left in the budget for them. I understand in a way, I've been on committees before, that you have to, get together and all agree on it and propose a budget. Maybe there's not any money left this year. I don't know how often you go about doing this, but maybe we can find a way to put this into the budget plan for next year. For now, I had thought maybe we could do some sort of fundraising. Someone mentioned to me that maybe money confiscated from like drug busts or whatever could be used. I know Rockford did that, and that was helpful for them to get vehicles and stuff like that. Maybe we could use that money for that. Also, grants. I don't know if there's any way to apply for grants to get this up and going or to help with any needed officers being hired or detectives. Another thing was Crime Stoppers Night. I see that there's an event coming up, and I think that's great. Maybe some more involving Crime Stoppers, so people know that if their tips are used to catch the criminals, that they get paid. It's kind of a horrible way to think about it, but I mean, if that helps people, come forward, a gun buyback type of deal, if we could do something like that. I know other cities around us have done that, and that's helped get them off the street. Enforcing curfew and loitering laws. I remember we had a little string of violence for a while back when I was in high school, and I know that they were more strict with that, and I think that helped. There's people standing on the streets doing illegal activity. It's just a matter of when the police come through and actually be able to catch them. But against the law to be standing there and loitering, maybe they could be ticketed for that, and that would keep them from being on the streets and stray bullets flying and hurting people. I'm almost done. Another thing that I wanted to bring up that might help with building relations with the police, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, it's just a matter of people know things and they don't want to come forward and say anything to anyone, and sometimes the police get a negative, negatively. That's not my opinion, but it's opinion of some people, and I think that some relation building activities would be beneficial, like I thought, and don't laugh at me, anybody, but for one, I thought, sometimes there's like brought in hot dog stands or car washes, if maybe the police and the fire department and even you guys could come out and help with stuff like that. And it would also raise money for maybe the Crime Stoppers or for the shot detector getting up and running. Maybe if we had city council and police and any other community leaders go out and boost and advertise neighborhood watch programs. I've tried to start one in my neighborhood, and and a lot of the people are scared to do it. And then if I'm the one starting it up, then people are going to come to me when there's a problem or whatever, or I'm being targeted because I've come forward. People are scared about someone doing something to them if they're the one leading it. But if it's someone like the police that are and they're organizing it and getting people together, then maybe people will feel more safe talking about what needs to be said. And then my last thing is, and I'm not trying to, point fingers again, but statistically, high crime is higher among people with lower income. And I know that a lot of lower income people, and I'm one of those people, but I am a homeowner, a lot of people that are lower income rent. And there has been a problem, and I've had a problem with some in my neighborhood, where they were running a drug house and prostitution in the house, and they have gotten, they don't mow their grass, their dog's always barking, their CPS is there, and they still get to stay where they're at. And I think if the homeowners are ticketed for some of these things, it would help get some of these kind of people out of our city. So anyway, those are suggestions. I would like to talk more about it, and I could talk all day. But I don't know, maybe there's some way you guys can kind of work it out or something, and maybe we can talk more on this and get some more people involved. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Chief Jacobs, would you be willing to touch base with Ms. Carpenter on some of her ideas for the neighborhood? And Ms. Carpenter, just to let you know, in terms of our budget process, we will be voting on a budget this fall that would cover next year, and we'll certainly take your considerations into account at that time. Our next speaker is Eunistine Glass.
Good afternoon. I'm Eunistine Glass, 2035, and I'm simply here for a follow-up. At the last council meeting, you voted to reduce the fine. I'm also with Job. At the last meeting, you voted to reduce the fines for first-time offenders from $100 to $50, pending approval of the judge. My question is, did the judge approve it? The second question is, what is the status of the meeting that is supposed to be set up between the school district, the city council, and the community?
I can answer those questions. Yes, the judge approved. That item is on our agenda for a vote this evening, and we're still working on getting that meeting set up.
Okay, so you still don't know when the meeting will be?
We don't have a firm date for the meeting,
Okay.
but we will definitely announce that publicly when we do.
Okay, and I will be back at the next council meeting and ask the same question if it's not set up.
Sure. Thank you. Those are all of the sheets for speakers that I have, but if there's anyone else wishing to address the council this evening during citizens' participation, please approach the podium at this time. Second call for any additional speakers during citizens' participation. Third and final call for speakers during citizens' participation. Hearing none, citizens' participation is closed. Item 6 is the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda. The consent agenda consists of items 6A through D, and I would like to remove item 6D. Are there any councilors wishing to remove any other items? If not, the agenda consists of 6A through C. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved. Second.
Moved by Lupke, second by Haynes. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That's approved 6-0. Item 6D.
A resolution awarding Public Works Contract C14-04 Gateway Sewer and Water Extension.
Good evening.
Mr. Flesch.
Thanks for having me today. This project is to extend the sewer and water to the town hall area to serve the CCI corporate office building that's under construction. 4 bids were received for this project. The low bid was $532,245 and was from LTL Enterprises and is 91.5% of the engineer's estimate. LTL Enterprises is considered to be a qualified and responsible bidder. The cost for the project are $532,245 for construction, $79,755 for change orders and extra work, for a total of $612,000. The low bid for this project was inadvertently sent by the contractor to City Hall the day before the bid opening and was received and stamped by the clerk, but unfortunately she did not get it to us. Its existence was not known at the time. Engineering staff opened the bids. The city attorney was consulted and has been briefed on the issues and is comfortable awarding the bid to the low bidder despite these inconsistencies as allowed by contract. The engineering division recommends awarding the contract to LTL Enterprises, and appropriate funds are available in the 2013 capital improvement project budget. Questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions?
To his interaction, please.
City Attorney?
Excuse me. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Fleisch did review this with me before the final decision was made. I did not see this as a close question, given my understanding of the facts as have been laid out here tonight. I would mention, while there's certainly been challenges around the state to how cities have implemented the bid law, the courts have consistently noted that public bidding law is not for the protection of bidders. It's for the protection of the taxpayers. And I think this case represents just that situation. I'm comfortable and I remain in concurrence with the recommendation from Public Works and Engineering that the council approve this bid.
Thank you. Mr. Flesch, can you explain for the council your understanding of why the other bids that we received might have come in above the engineer's estimate and how this bid compares to the engineer's estimate?
This bid was just slightly below the engineer's estimate. When you open the other bids, of course, I was very nervous when they came in at over $800,000 is the low bid of the other 3 cluster. It did make me very nervous. I did expect the bids to be higher than engineer's estimate due to the time of this year we were bidding and the tight time frame for construction. So I expected them to be higher than my engineer's estimate because that was done without all those factors involved. It was strictly based on price, et cetera. So I feel comfortable with them. The others were probably adding premiums to make it so they could get their other work done. From talking with the owner of LTL, he is not as busy. It sounds like the other companies are relatively busy at the end of the season here. So I'm assuming, put in premiums to make it so they could get their work and get everything done on time.
Thank you. Vice President Haynes?
I have a question for the city attorney. Since LTL's bid was date time stamped within the time stricture, and so we agreed that we received it, if we had not given them the contract, would that leave us vulnerable to action from them?
It's hard to say whether they would bring in action. I think it would probably be defensible on the city's part. I think the real concern would be a taxpayer initiated litigation or certainly complaints for accepting a bid $200,000 and some thousand dollars
Almost
higher.
$300,000 difference.
Yeah. Understood. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Flesch? Is there a motion on this item?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Moved by Haynes, second by Kincaid. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? This is approved 6-0. Item 7 is ordinances. 7A.
A proposed ordinance to amend Section 1.88 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to the Police and Fire Commission. The Police and Fire Commission recommended approval.
Ms. Krieger.
Good evening. The Police and Fire Commission requested that this ordinance be changed to reflect the same titles that appear in the state statute. Along with that, they had a couple of minor text amendments that they requested. So the Police and Fire Commission recommended unanimously that this be approved, and it has no budgetary impact.
Thank you. Are there any questions, or is there a motion to suspend the rules for a second reading?
Motion to suspend rules.
Moved by Lupke, second by Kelly to suspend the rules. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That's approved 6-0. Is there a motion on the merits? Moved by Kincaid. Is there a second? Second by Kelly. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? This is approved 6-0. Item 7B.
Substitute Amendment Number 1 for a proposed ordinance to amend Sections 25.4 Sub 1 Sub D, 31.30 Sub 1, and 15.30, and to create Section 31.30 Sub 1M of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to forfeitures for juvenile matters in municipal court.
Ms. Krieger.
At the last council meeting, as you recall, the city council voted to amend one forfeiture from the original ordinance that was presented to council. That was to change the first offense, habitual truancy violation, from $100 down to $50. I did take that to the municipal court judge. He has approved that, so this is ready for action tonight.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item, or is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Moved by Haynes. Is there a second? Second by Kelly. Is there any discussion? Councilor Lupke.
Based on the judge's recommendation, I feel comfortable voting in the affirmative.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? This is approved 6-0. Item 8 is appointments. And I, the undersigned, Mark Spreitzer, duly elected president of the Beloit City Council, subject to confirmation by the Beloit City Council, do hereby appoint the following citizen members to the vacancies in terms indicated as follows, said appointments being pursuant to nominations made and approved by the Appointment Review Committee at the regular meeting held August 11th, 2014. To the Appointment Review Committee, Louise Reidenbach, 1609 Burton Street, for a term ending December 31st, 2015. To the Community Development Authority, Russell L. Manning, 1413 Yates Avenue, for a term expiring December 31st, 2016. And to the Plan Commission, Eric Otis Johnson, 2386 Terra Court, for a term ending April 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve these appointments? Moved by Lupke, second by Hendricks. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? These are approved 6-0. I'd like to announce the following vacancies. On the Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee, vacancy for a resident. On the Board of Appeals, we have one alternate vacancy for a resident. The Board of Ethics has one vacancy for a former city councilor and two vacancies for residents. The Board of Review has two alternate vacancies for residents. The Equal Opportunities Commission has two vacancies for residents. Municipal Golf Committee, one vacancy for a resident. The Park Recreation and Conservation Advisory Commission has two vacancies for residents and one youth vacancy. The Plan Commission, one vacancy for a resident. And the Traffic Review Committee, three vacancies for residents. I would encourage any interested resident of the city of Beloit to apply for one of these openings. It's a great way to get involved in the community and serve the city on an issue of interest to you. Item 9 is councilor activities and upcoming events. Councilor Lubke.
It was very nice last Tuesday, I think it was August 5th, to go out on the Take Back Tonight picnics around the city. I made it to about 12 before I pooped out, but it was just wonderful to see all the citizens of Beloit, including you, Jamie, and I tried to control myself with the food, but it was just nice seeing the police, fire, and community people out having, what a great city we have. And to extend that, last Wednesday I went to Summit Park, and again I saw Jamie and a lot of others, the police, the fire, and just a lot of community people out there supporting what Beloit's all about again. Just a very nice day. And lastly, I want to commend two of my fellow councilors, Sheila DeForest and Mark Spreitzer, for running a very transparent and honorable campaign for the Wisconsin Assembly. It's nice to work with two people who are vying for the same seat. It just kind of gives high grades to people we have in Beloit and on the council. So I'm honored to serve with both of you, the individuals. And I wish Mark a lot of luck in the future.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Councilor Hendricks.
I also attended a few of the, not quite 12, of the National Night Out events, which was good to see everyone outside fighting against crime or being present so that the crime would be lowered. And I too attended the Beloit Strong event on Wednesday the 13th. It was good to see the fire department out interacting with the children, interacting with the people there, counselors there, city officials, school board members. I saw a few teachers and community members, which was good. But I did hear a few of our young people afraid still of being at that park, that something was going to happen to them. So that's heartbreaking. So there still is work to be done, because unfortunately the next day there were instances that, brought crime back to our city. So I am willing to meet with you, Ms. Carpenter, just ideas as well. And that's one of the things I'm passionate about, are the youth in our community. So just to hear them being afraid of being in a park in our city was heartbreaking. So, but it was a good event. It was a nice turnout. Everything was positive during that event. So I'm looking forward to more events like that. And I will be attending the grand opening for the fitness center at Beloit Memorial High School tomorrow. I'm excited about it, being a cheer coach, because I can send my cheerleaders in there to work out. But there are a lot of new developments school district period that bring attention to our schools in a positive light. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you. Councilor Kincaid.
I have nothing to report this evening.
Vice President Haynes.
Yes, well, while everyone else was out at National Night Out, somebody had to mind the store, and so I attended the DOT meeting on the I-43-90 interchange. That all went well. It was well attended. I think we reached a large amount of the public and had some good understanding about what our choices are moving forward with that major infrastructure project. Thank you.
Councilor Kelly.
Well, I have something to report for a change. I helped put together the playground at Hackett, and they had gotten a grant from Lowe's for playground equipment, and they had and a bunch of other sponsors as well. They had a lot of people there helping out, pouring cement and putting the equipment together. And I went by today, and it's just about done. All they need is the mulch. It looks great.
And I also had a chance to attend the DOT meeting on the interchange and hear part of the presentation on that, and then headed out to as many block parties as I could get to. Item 10 is City Manager's presentation. We have none this evening. Item 11 is reports from boards and city officers. 11A.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for Wisconsin Historic Preservation Fund subgrants for certified local governments.
Ms. Christensen.
Our intensive survey was completed in 1981. State recommends that be updated every 20 years. So we are past that deadline. And so there is grant funding available through the Wisconsin Historical Society. So what we're asking for permission to do is to apply for a historic preservation grant through the Wisconsin Historical Society. The notice of intent is due September 12th. Applications are due November 14th, with awards in February to March of 15, with anticipated project dates to June of August of 2015. If awarded, we would then send an RFP out to hire a professional historic surveyor. They would work with the college, who has agreed to have us work with a fellow from Beloit College. They will also work with the Landmarks Commission and the staff person. There is no local match for this grant. It is 100% funded, so there's no impact on the budget. It's really just free money to do the intensive survey.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Moved by Haynes, second by Hendricks. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? This is approved 6-0. Item 12, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Hendricks, second by Kelly. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned at 7:53.
How awesome is that?
Back to plan till September.
Could
It'll be a 10 o'clock meeting.
I noticed that.